All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, I'll name this segment later, GTG spits. I'm sorry. GTG spits that grease, so on and so forth. Title forever in the works. If the title hasn't given me away yet, we're gonna be speaking. Sorry, I'm trying to get this evil laugh under control. It's a complex. I'm working on it. We're gonna be talking about DSP and Grace Thorp, and whether DSP slid into her DMs or whether she slid into his. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. Okay, we're just a little bit, just a little bit. That's what we're gonna talk about. So, and I also want to speak on this very, very interesting coincidence with Grace showing up when she did. And in the arc, it's not really an arc yet. It's not even really a saga. It's just something that's slowly starting to bubble. We haven't gotten to a simmer yet. So, excuse me, that's Grace and whatnot. I'm gonna have her kind of looping in the background for a minute so you can get an idea of what DSP was apparently talking to. Now, here's the thing. Ironically enough, it's very strange how the last two women that DSP, well, the last two women that we know of, I should say, who DSP were speaking to or has spoken to, are connected to Review Tech USA in some way. And they're also connected to Keemstar. We'll come back to the Keemstar part later, or I'll talk about that in another video. But I do want to talk about the correlations between Grace, Becky Boop, and DSP. And Rich, by proxy, now I think about it. So you guys all know about the Becky Boop situation. I told you guys about that a while when that happened. Like, I actually was already around and whatnot at that time. That was when LCU was actually somewhat interesting. In any case, quick synopsis: Becky Boop had been messing with Rich off and on for about a decade, but Rich never got in between those box, or in between them folds, or never got a chance to taste that box. But yet he was messing with her off and on for over a decade, which is strange. She used that story to get onto LCU, parlayed that into a couple of appearances, which ended up leading to Lolcow Queens. And then obviously after they ousted her, Keemstar and Pedo behind the camera, then that shit ended up crashing and burning, and it's been like a slow fire, death fire ever since. So that's the thing in itself. Sorry about that. So that's the thing with Becky. Well, DSP and Becky were talking. Now, real fast. So the reason why I think DSP and Becky were talking was twofold. I think Becky wanted to get DSP onto Lolcow Queens to prove to Keem that, hey, I have value and I can pull the fucking the gouty whale that you can't and whatnot, so you need to cut me in on the actual business itself. Now, in hindsight, now that we know how some of the money's being cut up over there in the LCU, it makes a lot of sense, which is what I told you all those years ago and whatnot. And it took time. I wasn't wrong. I was just early. But that ended up kind of history ended up proving me right on that. In any case, but like I said, she parlayed that into a deal, and then they ended up backstabbing her, and then she left the internet. Supposedly Becky's gonna make a return, but it is what it is. But for DSP though, DSP was entertaining the whole situation because it would have been a fantastic way to get back at Rich, in the same way he used Kino Casino to go at Rich. So that was just way more closer to home, basically. So, because remember, there was a show called Tech Talk with Rich and Jay, and then that all fell apart, but that was all just one long gay op on Rich anyway, and he's just stupid, and he was desperate, so that's why he fell for it. So semantics. So that's the situation with Becky Boop and DSP for the most part. And then Becky was in the process of, and then Becky later on tried to start her own network. We'll leave that for later. But that's essentially what that is. I have a whole video on it though if you're interested. Now, Grace. Grace was over there with the LCU briefly. Keem was trying to see if he could lock her in on a situation. Didn't really work out. Rich had spoken to her in the Discord a few times or whatever. Then he tried to bring her on to his stream. They were supposed to do some quote unquote content with each other, meaning that she was supposed to actually go to his house, you know, where his parents lay their heads down, where he occasionally have his kids at, and he was going to bring her there to make content. Now, looking at the woman that you see on screen, what kind of content do you think Rich was going to try to make? Huh? What kind of content you think was expected to come out of that situation? Semantics. I'll talk to Lauren about that tonight. In any case, so there was some quote-unquote content that was supposed to be planned out. Rich ends up finding out that, well, Grace's father's going to be there, which makes sense why Grace's father's going to be there, because Grace at that time, I don't know if she can do it now, but at that time, Grace couldn't drive. So I don't know if she can drive now, but she couldn't drive back then. So she depended on her father to go everywhere. So he was definitely going to show up, and Rich got spooked and whatever. And that's what led to him. I think he bought a stun gun at first. I thought he bought a stun gun first, and then he ended up buying a shotgun and to protect himself and his family, whatever that shit. Even though the quote unquote danger was the very person that you invited over. So that shows you how many brain cells Rich had at that time, and he's lost even more of them since. In any case, so that's the little backstory between Rich and Grace. Now here's where I come in. What I think is that DSP wants to use Grace as another way of getting back at Rich in a similar way that he tried to do with Becky, and certainly in what he hopes an equally successful way to what happened with Kino Casino. Because just for the record, we're keeping score over here. DSP still hasn't broken that $3,000 in support on a single stream yet. That record still belongs to Kino Casino. Well, that Kino Casino stimulus package collaboration they did. DSP is yet to do that on his own yet, right? So, and Rich has been a very reliable punching bag. So he needs someone who has some experience with Rich to help him with that situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and keep in mind, when that whole situation with Rich wanting to do content and all that shit blew up, Sly at that time had gone over that whole thing, and Rich ain't sat there and called him an Uncle Tom and did all some other bullshit too that he had done around that time to make Rich look like a fucking idiot. And I think DSP wants to replicate that because people had alluded to it on DSP streams at that time, and DSP somewhat made it seem like he was paying attention to it to some degree. And I was, as you know, kind of Sav ended up giving her opinion on all that stuff too, and it was a fun time, to say the very least. But I think that's the reason why Grace is there. I think Grace, or at least at that time, because DSP says this was like late last year, early in the year, but DSP's a bit of a liar, and Grace hasn't actually given us a time frame as of yet, at least as I've seen. So who knows when this all happened. But in any case, I think DSP was using her to get back at Rich. And why not? Because theoretically, she had already milked Rich into getting a gun anyway and running around saying he was scared for his family and himself. And don't forget about himself. So why not? Now, DSP, as he did with the whole grocery store situation, says, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. There was no conversations. There was no DMs. And then in the next snort, he literally ends up basically fessing up to all the bullshit. But I'm going to lay it all out to you. So all of this started because Grace, on this very stream that you're seeing right now, had actually brought him up that they were actually speaking. I'm going to run you through the whole thing. So let's actually get into that right now. So let's see here. It's a good. Here we go. This should be it. All right. So this is from Grace's stream. I'll have the link down in the description if you guys are even somewhat interested. It's been floating around Detractor Twitter and the DSP Reddit and on the farm, so you can find it. But I'll link it down in the description if you guys are interested. All right. So, and someone had made a funny joke about Grace was playing Grand Theft Auto, and that's how this whole situation got brought up. So it's kind of funny when you think about it in hindsight. In any case, this is Grace's stream where she talks about where DSP is brought up, actually right here. Well, you can't see my mouse, but he's brought up right here. It's a good plan. Even DSP would have thought about it. The context of that part is irrelevant. It's just he got name dropped and then she reacts to it. So without further ado, because we got another video after this, this might be a long one. Here we go.
It's a good plan. Even DSP would have thought of that.
Dude, that guy is he's bigger than we thought, Grace. Or I thought.
He's bigger than we thought, Grace. Uh-oh. It's like they sizing his ass up like he's something to eat. Okay.
I've had like long conversations with him in DMs.
He got like a $2,000 donut.
Damn, bro, they pocket checking yourself, DSP. Boy, it's gonna be weird if she pops up and Kat's there. Oh man, and Kat's at the house when Grace pops up. That's gonna be awkward. Not for Grace, she's gonna be cool with it, but Kat, that'd be hard to explain. Or DSP, just for the record, I'm just trying to help you out. I don't know why, but I'm gonna do this. It would be really crazy if Grace got in contact with Jenna. Oh man, that would be a mess. That'd be a mess if that happened. Holy shit. Just imagine what the two of them would have to talk about. Whew. And fucking Grace and her father are all about the drama, and they're all about content. I don't see why they would have a problem driving out there to make that happen, or flying out there or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to wish anything or conjure anything into existence. But boy, oh boy, Phil, you don't want her reaching out to Jenna. Oh, please believe you don't want her reaching out to Jenna. That might be a problem.
It's a good plan. Even DSP would have thought of that.
Dude, that guy is like, he's bigger than we thought, Bryce. Or I thought. Yeah.
GSP?
Sure. He's big.
Yeah, no, he's pretty big. I've had like long conversations with him in DMs.
He got like a $2,000 donut.
Yeah. He's big. He's like known as a lol cow, but I was gonna do an interview with him about how like what being a lol cow is and like how we feel like we identify and don't identify with it. Well, because I mean.
Now, okay, so that's interesting. So you were gonna talk to him, being Grace. Grace was gonna talk to DSP about some lol cow shit, and that makes sense, to be honest with you, because DSP is a lol cow. She was on LCU. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to speak of. That would have been an opportunity for DSP to try to clear the air and everything. Grace doesn't have the reach, not like that, but you know what I'm saying? There is something there to speak on if you think about it. Interesting. And now that I think about it too, DSP had also sat there and said that he never really spoke to her. There wasn't any long conversations, and then he gradually lets it out that, yeah, he did talk to her a few times and so on and so forth about a variety of different things and whatever. We'll get to that. But it's funny how, you'll see, I'll point it out and I'll nitpick it to death, how his story changes up and shit when he could have just been honest and whatnot. There's nothing good that comes out of lying, but especially not given the people who follow DSP. Like, he should know better.
What am I gonna do? Play video games with him? That's what he does.
Oh.
Because he hit me up and he was, no, somebody.
I thought you were just talk shit about.
Oh, he hit you up? Oh, no. Bring that back.
That's what he does.
Oh.
Because he hit me up and he was, no, somebody.
I thought you were just talk shit about RTU.
Yeah, but he doesn't really know RTU that well, I guess.
But he does. So wait, so why did you, okay, so DSP, according to her, she hit him up, or he hit her up, I should say. So who knows who actually initiated the conversation? Because according to DSP, her name was brought up to him on stream. He said something, somehow that made it back to her, but I don't know if they've actually said who initiated it. We'll get to that. But in any case, while they're doing these back and forths, somehow, some way, we start talking about lol cows. We want to have a conversation about that. Grace knows that he only plays video games, but she's clearly not completely indoctrinated and shit. She's not seasoned well enough to know what exactly DSP does. And then somehow Review Tech USA's name comes up, but DSP tells her that he doesn't know a whole lot about her. But according to the timeline as it pertains to DSP, they were speaking December of 2025 and January of 2026. DSP is already a year plus removed, if not longer, from the whole Kino Casino arc, which was kicked off because of Rich. So why is DSP lying to Grace Thorp about not knowing shit about Review Tech USA? It's almost like he was trying to rock her into a position to see if he can get her to talk about him, and then he would gradually start speaking about it as well. If they can do it all on stream, then she'll take the blunt of it, while he essentially just coasts along. That's my own personal Theo theory, though. Not exactly a Theo theory, but we'll see. Let's let it continue.
Yeah, that's true.
Big fat baby, that's all I know.
Big fat baby.
Private.
Wet his diapers.
I'm willing to say
about this? How about this? If we hit the room goal, we will reach out to Steve. He'll reach out.
All right, we'll leave it at that. But there you go on that. So this is what popped it all off. This is what kicked it all off, if you will. All right. So now we go to DSP responding to it.
So let's see how it goes.
Shut up. Okay, so let's go ahead and give credit where credit's due. First off and foremost, you guys know the routine. Big ups to Raw Phil. I guess big ups to myself because I was the one who cut this as well as the Grace one. So yippee ki on that. Big ups and big ups to Chio. All right, so let's see here. Do I got a title for all this? Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, here. DSP speaks on sliding into Grace Thorp's DMs. This is from August 10th of 2026, our current year of the Gout, the Doubt, and the Snout. And it's also the year of the horse, isn't it? Or was that last year? Don't quote me on that. Anyway, without further ado, here we go.
All right. So today, if you support this stream, you're supporting not only this stream, but the future of Dark Souls 2 doing the DLC. So if you want the DLCs, support this stream today. Let's hit some milestones. Let's get.
That is sad looking. First off, they were probably never gonna get to the DLCs anyway. And two, these arms, man. Like, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Jesus Christ. Like, I get it. He lied about the whole working out bullshit to cover up that he was on some type of weight loss medication or he's on a GLP-1 or whatever the case may be. I get that. But there's no way that after a while of you getting up every day and looking at yourself in the mirror that you can sit there and say, I'm working out, I'm building muscle while you're on the jab or you're on whatever it is that he's taking. There's no way that he thought anybody was that stupid to believe this. Like, look at this shit. His mic arm is almost as big as his arm. Like, let's be real about this for a minute. Anyway, semantics.
Some pack rips. Let's get it going for Dark Souls, right? Okay. Cool.
Sad, bro. Sad.
So, welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to build up attendance a bit before we start with Dark Souls 2. We're going to hang out, talk about any topics or anything you guys want to chat about. Already a bunch of support came in. Let's do it. So, Chorgon Scormhammer is actually our...
Which is kind of funny because we're talking about a stream that's literally based off begging. Like, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't produce or do anything else.
First gifted sub of the day.
I also like how he keeps fighting and saying that, you know, the cards aren't taking up the content. But I'm sure if any of you guys have watched WPIG or that being said as of late, like, it's taking up at least 50% of the content that's on the channel, if not more than that. It's kind of wild, to be honest with you. It's kind of wild. But like I said, I'm personally going to wait and see how... Let's see how the summer goes. The rest of the summer goes, I should say. And then let's see how we get into the fall. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how we go through the holidays. Let's say that. Let me cover my bases a little bit more. Let's see how we get through the holidays. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how that plays out. And then we'll see what 2027 has to do with it after that. But I want to see us get through the summer and then get through the holidays.
We're on Kick. Let's get that up on the leaderboard.
So, that should be interesting.
Thank you, Chorgon. To be honest, again, with all of you, I really would appreciate Kick support today. Why? Because this week I lost a ton of Kick subs.
Oh, imagine that. You've been saying that they're toxic. You've been banning a shitload of people. You say that they're a bunch of losers and no lives, but you still make money off them, and that's the reason why you allow them to exist. And then you expect them to give you money? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. I'm sure in a perfect Gouty world that makes sense to somebody somewhere.
I don't know what it was, but a bunch of them must have all expired at once. And therefore, now we're way down on the channel. It would be great to get some Kick subs today.
And actually, I'm glad that he actually said this. So I'm glad I left this in there, I should say. Because the reality is, he doesn't make shit off the Kick Partner program. Outside of memberships. He doesn't make shit. So I don't know why we're sitting there boasting and talking all this hot shit. I don't really get it. And if he was trying to keep the numbers up so more people would gift more memberships, then wouldn't you want to have more active accounts available? So why are you banning so many damn people then? If you literally need those people or those accounts to exist so they can get gifted memberships. Semantics. Maybe you didn't think that far.
To support Dark Souls, to support the streams, to get some pack rips, whatever.
Because I don't know if Kick is like Twitch, where if you have, let's say, 60 subs, right? Or no, let's say you have like, no, let's say you have 1,000 people following you and whatnot, and someone gifts you 100 subs, even though you probably don't have 100 active subs. You see what I'm saying? They still get you still get the money no matter what, whether there's someone there to claim it or not. I don't know if Kick works that way. I don't really know. But if a portion of your income is based on active viewers on your account, why are we banning people? I'm asking for a friend.
Whatever you want to do, please support on Kick if you can today. Let's try to get that momentum back. Virtual Boy, resubscribe to the channel. Thank you, Virtual Boy, for resubscribing.
Sad work, bro. Sad work.
Spoderman did a $2 super chat. He says, explain the Grace Thorp situation.
Look at the chair shake. God damn, starting to make me seasick.
There is no Grace Thorp situation. If you want to know any kind of, relation that I have to Grace Thorp, there's none. All right. So hold on a second. Let me get your super chat up here. I'll tell you very matter-of-factly.
Sometime today, Phil.
The only interaction I ever had with this person.
The only interaction that he had, singular, at least the way he's trying to say it, he's trying to portray it. He's trying to display it. Womp womp.
Okay. Way back early this year, it was either December or January. I don't even remember when.
So you were talking to another woman during the holidays, bro? That's weird. On top of that, I thought you said you didn't need anybody else in your life. You didn't need friends. You didn't need any of that. That's why you weren't interested in Triple P and his gay sex offer over there at Hogan's Bar. You know what I'm saying? During the Super Bowl or WrestleMania or whenever that was. You said you weren't interested in none of that bullshit, right? So but you have time to be talking to other women behind the scenes? That seems weird. That seems weird. It's still also weird to me too that he really thought that Triple P was attracted to him sexually, and that's why he wanted to fly him out. I'm pretty sure it was for WrestleMania and whatnot, to hang at Hogan's Bar to get him drunk so he could take advantage of him. Like, I don't know what kind of weird ass fucking fantasies that Darksydephil has, but it explains why there's probably not a whole lot of mileage on Cat. It kind of makes sense if you're sitting here bringing shit up like this. It makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest.
Someone on my stream came into the chat and said, what do would you ever do a collab with Grace Thorp? And I said, I don't know who that is. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I think they had very briefly tried to explain to me who this person was. And that...
I'll try to go back and see if I can find that, because I, quite frankly, don't remember it. But it might have been one of those throwaway, it might have been like a throwaway segment during like his gameplay or whatever that just got lost in the weeds. That happens a lot, to be honest with you.
Was it? And I was like, well, I don't know anything about it, right? And that was it. That was the end of it. I don't remember, right? I don't remember what I actually said because, again, I don't know who this person is. Well, this person DM'd me on X and said, hey, so I heard that someone brought me up, or you brought me up on your stream, and, I was wondering if you want to do like an interview or a collab or something. And we had a very back and forth conversation that lasted very short amount of time. I was like talking to her about what kind of content does she make, because I had no idea. And I was telling her about the kind of content I make, and I was like, I don't know if there's any real crossover there whatsoever.
Keep in mind, keep that in mind. Let me bring that part back. Keep this part in mind. I don't see there's a whole lot of crossover between the two of us. I don't know what kind of content we can make. And yet he continues to keep talking to her. Huh. Okay, anyway. Remember, this was supposed to be one single situation. This is one instance that they spoke to each other, and that's it. But then let me not spoil. Let me not spoil.
The end of it. I don't remember, right? I don't remember what I actually said because, again, I don't know who this person is. Well, this person DM'd me on X and said, hey, so I heard that someone brought me up, or you brought me up on your stream, and, you know, I was wondering if you want to do like an interview or a collab or something. And we had a very back and forth conversation that lasted very short amount of time. I was like talking to her about what kind of content does she make, because I had no idea. And I was telling her about the kind of content I make, and I was like, I don't know if there's any real crossover there whatsoever. You know, I just don't think so.
Okay, now remember, in the Grace segment that I showed you guys earlier, she brought up the fact that, you know, hey, he kind of plays video games. What we're going to do, play video games with each other? But then but I think she actually led with the fact that, well, people think you're a lol cow, or they thought that they were both lol cows, and maybe they could talk about it, how there's a discrepancy. So which one is it, Phil? According to her, she wanted to talk to you about some lol cow shit. And then she said that, you know, she really didn't have an interest in playing video games, and that's your forte. That's your stock and trade, which she was wrong. Your stock and trade is begging and lying, to be honest. But whatever. She's not, like I said, she's not well seasoned. So, you know, she was working with what she had. But according to DSP, though, according to his assessment, this one time that they spoke with each other, they had nothing to speak about. There was nothing there at all. So he didn't see really what the point was. Food for thought.
And basically we talked maybe twice in a very brief back and forth in the DMs, and that was the end of it. Like, basically we just stopped talking to each other in January. I guess we kind of realized there's not going to be any collab because there's really no crossover. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if maybe she was into games, or maybe I was into the kind of stuff that
I don't know. This seems like a bit of a struggle session here.
she was doing, the kind of content she was doing. There was nothing.
So there was a bunch of back and forth. So did this happen the same day? This has happened over a couple days? Which one is it?
Okay. I guess she goes to like debate stuff, like debate events, and does IRL streaming constantly and stuff like that. I don't know anything about it. I guess at one point she'd been involved with Keemstar, but I didn't know about that either. Okay. So
how'd you know she was involved with him then? And so that's weird too. She must have been involved with Keemstar, but I don't know nothing about it. Grace says, hey, he says he doesn't know anything about RTU. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, they both could be lying, to be honest with you. But it's real strange how this story ain't matching up. Things aren't really panning out here.
yeah, so I didn't know anything about it at all. And that's it. That's literally the end of it. There was nothing, no relation, no real interaction. We're not doing anything together. I have no idea why you're even bringing this up, because it's really no one's business.
And then why are you getting defensive? Like, why are you getting defensive about this? She's a public figure just like you are. So if she decided to talk about this on her end, what's preventing her from doing that? Asking for a friend.
Just for the record, I talked to a ton of people behind the scenes about stuff. About, hey, what's going on with this? What's the true story about this? Hey, you know, possibility.
Wait, what? Why are you grilling people about shit? That's weird. You're going around messaging people about, is this true? Is that true? Is this true? Is that true? That's strange, though, because I've heard you talk shit about Justin Wong. Did you reach out to him and ask if it was true, or did you just run your fucking mouth? And that was that. And not just Justin, like a bunch of content creators. But according to him right here, he's actually going around trying to fact check shit after the fact, of course. Interesting.
Of a collab here or that all the time. I've talked to probably in the last 2 years, probably like 50 different people.
That's sad. That's sad that over 2 years you talked to 50 people and none of them were interested in speaking to you. It's stuff like this that you shouldn't admit publicly, to be honest. Jesus Christ. If I had a heart, I might actually feel bad for you. I don't, so I don't. But still, sorry, but not sorry. But that's wild work. You've reached out to 50 people. He's probably lying, by the way, but let's go with it. Let's go with his delusion. You've reached out to 50 people and they all said no. That's crazy. Also, he could try to victimize himself. Wow.
Keemstar, but I didn't know about that either. Okay. So, yeah, so I didn't know anything about it at all. And that's it. That's literally the end of it. There was nothing, no.
And then he's already given us the timeline that they were talking over the span of a month. Because when he said, oh, I was talking to her, what was it, late December, maybe early January? So you've been talking to her over the better part of a month then, basically. Because that's how DSP likes to establish his timelines, by muddying the water and shit. By, oh, I don't know exactly what month I spoke to her in. I'm not really quite sure. It might have been December, it might have been January. Oh, so you were talking to her for the better part of a month. Potentially too. Because you were talking to Becky for a bit too. Becky ends up admitting that. So, huh? Okay.
Relation, no real interaction. We're not doing anything together.
You talking to her for a month wasn't, or potentially talking to her for a month wasn't any real interaction? Seems like a lot of interaction to me. If you were talking to her over a few days, that sounds like an interaction. A serious one at that. Where you devoted multiple days to it. Maybe he doesn't know what that means. It's possible.
I have no idea why you're even bringing this up, because it's really no one's business.
And then you're getting real defensive over nothing, bro. You're getting real defensive over nothing. That seems real strange.
Just for the record, I talk to a ton of people behind the scenes about stuff.
Here we go. Let's muddy the waters even more.
About, hey, what's going on with this? What's the true story about this? Hey, you know, a possibility of a collab here or that. All the time. I've talked to probably, in the last 2 years, probably like 50 different people on that very same criteria, that very same basis. Just a hello, how you doing? What kind of content do you make? Do you think there's a collab opportunity?
So did you reach out to her or did she reach out to you then? Just saying. I'm just asking for clarification. Because if he's reached out to 50 people, was Grace part of that 50? I'm just asking. Because according to Grace, she kind of makes it sound like he reached out to her. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there.
That's it. So.
And you're getting real defensive over nothing. Yet again. Same thing with that fan picture thing. If it was an innocent situation, just a conversation between content creators, what are you getting mad about? I don't know. Maybe you got some explaining to do to Cat. Well, maybe you need to save that frustration for that and don't do it here.
Why are you bringing this up? Here's the question. Why are you bringing this up? Why would anyone even care about that? And why do you even know about it?
Does that sound like an innocent person?
Because I'd like to know.
Oh, you demand an
You're
answer.
bringing it up because it's public info. How is it public info that we talked very briefly behind the scenes about a possible collab?
What's the problem? Doesn't he like to cry and complain about how he had this amazing idea to collaborate with this one person? Or no, sorry, well, it was one person. And then eventually it morphed into multiple people. And they said, oh, well, it sounds like a great idea, Phil. It sounds like it'd make amazing content, but we're not going to do it because we don't want to get doxxed on the farms. Now, I know. Fucking Gouty Pignosis is going to be, oh, well, he didn't name their names, or he didn't put their names out there. So, you know, that's just him talking in vagaries. You're still talking about a situation that doesn't need to be spoke on. If someone figures that out, then your dents are going to go over there and be like, why aren't you going ahead and collabing with Phil? Why aren't you doing this? Why are you hurting Phil? And if you don't believe me on that, which you don't have to, go back no further than 2015? When DSP was sending his well, they weren't dents at that time. When DSP was sending his fans over to John and having them harass John and why John wouldn't do content with him after he moved. Go ahead, look, you can find it. It's out there. So it sounds like, ladies and gentlemen, the way DSP does anything is the way he does everything. So I don't understand why he's so scared about this one little situation, right? And it's supposedly not a big deal, but he's demanding answers for shit. What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking run up on Grace and be like, bitch, why are you talking about me? You're gonna call her a slut? You're gonna do that? Like you did with Strangely Lex and her girlfriend? Is that what you're gonna do? Yeah, I don't think you're gonna do that. I don't think you're gonna do that.
It shouldn't have been anyone's. First of all, it shouldn't have been anyone's business. A private conversation between two people behind the scenes.
Oh, really? You mean like that private conversation that you had with Kino Casino that you dropped all those DMs? Wasn't that private? Wasn't it that? Or wait, or what about the DM or the email exchange you had with Stutter and Craig? And Stutter and Craig was like, hey, would you like to bring up the email so we could speak on it? And you were like, oh, no, go ahead. You can talk about it. And then you try to act like there was a huge gotcha after the fact when he was like, hey, you're the one who put out the emails. I wasn't going to do that, this, that, and the third. You went ahead and gave him carte blanche to do it. You mean like that situation, DSP? You mean like how you were dropping John's fucking, his text messages and shit? Because he wouldn't do content with you because he was trying to get his own life back on track? Remember when you dropped all those messages? Those private messages? You mean like that, Phil? Don't worry, I'll wait.
It's no one's business because people try to make drama out of it. That's why you don't tell everyone, oh yeah, I talked to this person today about, no, you don't do that.
Okay. You look real nervous, boy. You look real scared. What's in them DMs, Phil? What's in them DMs that got you so scared? If it wasn't about anything, why do you care? See, now I want to know what's in them DMs. Now I want to know what you actually talked to her about. Because as far as we know, you've at least lied. Well, you've lied twice. But you've lied at least once about the whole thing about you not knowing anything about Review Tech USA, according to Grace. So what else did you lie about? What else were you talking about in there? Were you trying to get dirt on Keemstar too? I'm wondering. You know what? It's actually funny too. So DSP, I want you to think about this. So as one of the criterias for Kat to move in with DSP, she had to give up all of her social media. She had to give up Twitter. She had to give up Instagram. She got to give up YouTube and Twitch. But DSP was allowed to keep going. Oh, well, I had to do this because this is my job, this, that, and the third. Well, she had established channels though. So couldn't she have streamed or kept making video content and possibly have gotten monetized and possibly have brought more money into the household? And something that she clearly was already interested in doing, but you made her abandon all those things. But you're freaking the fuck out over something that should be rather small and insignificant, and you're demanding answers on how shit came out. When you're saying yourself, it was nothing. It was one singular situation, and you talked briefly. But of course, your timeline's all fucked up. And how long were you talking to her for? And what time of the day was it that you were talking to her? Man, you better hope this wasn't a Wings of Redemption situation. You better hope she didn't record that call, or she doesn't have screenshots of those messages, boy. That'd be ugly.
Say we used to have long convos. We have never had a long convo ever. That has never happened.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot.
Oh, that chair shaking, bro. I'm starting to get this motion sickness again.
Hi.
Starting to make me seasick. Sometime today, Phil. Holy shit, you're scared. What's wrong with you, Phil? What the hell? There you go. Cope sip. Go ahead and get yourself realigned.
Okay, here's something that might actually be truthful.
Uh-huh.
She was doing a GTA stream, so she was playing Grand Theft Auto.
Well, she wasn't playing Grand Theft Auto, but whatever. I showed you the stream, but it wasn't necessarily Grand Theft Auto. But sure, why not?
And she brought up your DMs and chats. That's why people are asking.
Okay.
There was no DMs or chats. It was she DM'd me.
There's no DMs or chats. Okay. There's no DMs or chats. And then immediately follows with...
She was playing... Okay, here's something that might actually be truthful. She was doing a GTA stream, so she was playing Grand Theft Auto. And she brought up your DMs and chats. That's why people are asking. There was no DMs or chats. It was she DM'd me saying, hi, I heard you brought me up on a stream. And I was like, no, someone brought you up on my stream, but I don't even know who you are, what kind of content you make. We talked back and forth about it.
So there were DMs and you guys going back and forth, which, you know, and I know you're a fucking alien and whatnot, but in human society, we call that a chat. When I send a message to someone and they send a message back and that continues over a period of time, that's called chatting. You know what I'm saying? I understand that you think you're fucking special. Like you think you're a Martian over here, like you're on Earth, but you're not like the rest of us. But the reality is that you're just a fucking weirdo and shit. But that's how a conversation works. That's what a chat is, by the way. I'm just putting it out there. You're clearly not smart enough to understand the traditions and shit and some of the cultural things that we do on this planet. So apparently you need someone to walk you through this.
A few times. In fact, at that...
A few times? Wait a second. I thought you only talked to her once. Chat. Oops, I almost called y'all chat. Ladies and gentlemen, didn't he say that he only talked to her once? Let's not go back that far. Didn't you say that? Now he's saying it's a few times. Well, gosh golly. Did he lie to us again? That's weird. So there was no DMs, there was no chat. Now he's saying that she did DM him and then they did chat multiple times. I'm confused. I feel like I've been lied to.
There was no DMs or chats. It was, she DM'd me saying, hi, I heard you brought me up on a stream. And I was like, no, someone brought you up on my stream, but I don't even know who you are, what kind of content you make. We talked back and forth about it a few times. In fact, at that time, I had just...
Literally the gift that keeps on giving. Never change, Phil. Never change. Don't let any detractor, troll, hater, or critic ever say nothing about nothing. Never change, Phil. You know what I'm saying? An answer is an answer. It doesn't matter if it's truth or not. An answer's still an answer.
Gotten these. Like, I got these in December, but I hadn't really used them yet. And I was wondering, how viable is it to, like, stream on a cell phone?
Wait. Oh, Ninja, what? Okay, so let me get this straight. She DMs you after you were talking about her, after someone brought her up on your stream. You guys go back and forth about content ideas. You guys come to the conclusion, this one time, by the way, there's one conversation that you guys had that wasn't a conversation, apparently. This one chat that you guys had, which wasn't a chat, by the way. And that came about because of a DM. That wasn't a DM, by the way, apparently. You guys had a back and forth about what kind of content did you guys make and what kind of interest that you guys have. You come to the conclusion that there's no point in you guys doing any, any content with each other because you guys don't have anything that really aligns with each other. Okay, fair enough. And then supposedly you guys just end the conversation right then and there. Then that slowly morphs into, well, you guys have talked a few times. The few times over the span of December to January, apparently, from December of 2025 to January of 2026. Then, apparently, out of this one singular conversation that may have taken place over the span of a month, semantics, then it eventually morphs into you asking her about peripherals to do IRL streaming. Even though you don't do IRL streaming, you said you weren't really interested in it, despite the black rod that you paid all that money for, a selfie stick, by the way, that he didn't use. Well, during that computer thing, but outside of that. But then you start reaching out to her for peripherals? To do IRL shit? Huh. Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
Because of battery issues, and so I said to her, you do IRL streaming, what kind of equipment do you use? And she explained, I bought a battery pack that I put on my phone, and it lets the phone last a lot longer, so that way you can actually do IRL streams longer than just an hour or two, because the battery tends to die. Very basic stuff about content creation.
If that's the case, then why are you lying about this and acting like the conversation never happened? And you really brought up the whole battery issue with IRL streaming on the first conversation you had with her? I don't know, Phil. I don't know. This sounds real. This sounds real suspect. It sounds like if she got a big enough donation and she dropped them DMs, there's gonna be something in there you don't want people to see. Anyway, semantics.
That's it. That's what we talked about. And I think at one point she brought up something about she'd been on a Keemstar show, like Lolcow Live or something.
Oh, was that a whole nother conversation too? So, according to you, we've had at least 3 conversations. One, who are you? I don't know. Who are you? Oh, I do this. Oh, you do that. Oh, okay. Then we had another conversation about battery banks or battery packs for IRL streaming. And then you guys had another conversation as it pertains to Locale Live or the LCU in general. And the way he's structuring it, it makes it sound like these were all separate conversations. This wasn't done all at once. Makes you think.
And that was it. And we just stopped talking because there was no interest. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing there to do. To have.
Why are you stuttering over this shit, man? Get on with this bullshit. It's not that serious. Well, according to you.
As a guest on the show, I would have not a clue what to talk about because it seems like we're just different kinds of content completely.
Okay, so who are the 50 people that you reached out to actually do collabs with? And what makes you think that you have any more in common with them than you do with her? Like, Keem don't play games. Neither does Boogie, really. And you wanted both of them onto your show. What were you going to talk to them about? Well, we saw what you talked to Keem about. You basically sucked him off for an hour and a half or whatever that was. Boogie didn't show up because Keem said no, and you couldn't get wings and whatnot. Well, you eventually got wings, but you couldn't get wings for a while there. And then that was just a pathetic display between two equally pathetic people. So nothing came out of that. And even though you and Wings play games, you guys and you're both lolcows and massive liars and known doxers and pedo defenders, and Wings wants the age of consent to be dropped to the age of 12. You don't seem to have a problem with incest. I mean, let me not even go any further. You guys are just all fucking creeps. But the reality of the situation is you guys really don't have a whole lot in common, to be honest, except for you guys are sickos. That's really what you don't have a problem with domestic abuse either. When Kelly took that Pepsi power bomb on that table at Fat Camp, you don't have a problem with that either. So, I mean, yeah, you guys are just fucking sickos and fucking creeps and shit.
So there's no crossover there.
Holy shit, Phil. Not good, sir. Not good.
So there you go.
There you go.
That's that. Done. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to bring up. You want to be, dramatic and stupid and make shit up.
How's it dramatic by asking a question based off of what she said? You don't even know what she said. So you just assume that he's lying because it doesn't meet your narrative? And it sounds like you're hiding something because you're certainly not being front face about this. Whatever. See, this is why the Stuttering Craig interview and why his DM drop with Kino Casino is gonna haunt his ass for the rest of his fucking life. Those two situations are gonna haunt his ass for the rest of his fucking life. If he thought he had it bad pre-side scrollers, he has no clue what's coming up next. There is so much dirt between those two situations on him, he'll never be able to wash it off. And no one will ever be able to take him seriously. You've got a pathological liar who will go out of his way to lie to you than tell you the truth, no matter how large or how small. And his motto, an answer is an answer, it doesn't matter if it's the truth or not, an answer is still an answer, is literally the nail in his coffin. So it makes sense, ladies and gentlemen, that over the last 2 years, this fucking mongoloid, this mental midget monkey, sat there and reached out to 50 people and none of them reached back. It kind of makes sense. Sorry, DSP, not everything can be a detractor, troll, hater, or critic's fault. Not even a detractor in this case. It sounds like you're gonna have to just eat that, buddy.
Go on doing whatever the hell you do. I'm gonna go on my merry way of my life here, okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Even though this is your job, though, right? Remember, content creation, collaborations, or conversations amongst content creators, a normal thing. I'm asking for a friend.
So, continuing on. 220,
Scared
500
little
kicks says, sorry I missed the AC stream. Count this support for it. Here's my new pirate joke. What happens when you steal a pirate's pee? He becomes irate. Thank you, 220, for 500 kicks. I appreciate it.
You are the flock that you attract. Holy shit. Oh, man.
Our first kicks of the day, so thank you for that. Madamus11 subbed over on Kick. Thank you, Madamus, for becoming a sub on Kick. I appreciate that very much.
Uh-huh.
And Jen Cooked
Sometime today, Phil.
Did 500 kicks. It says, why would you waste time doing content with people beneath you or no shared interest for content? Again, I want you to understand that in the last 2-3 years, I reached out or people reached out to me. It happened both ways.
Really? Because you just said you reached out to 50 people and, you know what I'm saying? And you said, and you know what I'm saying? You said they all said no. On top of that, just so I can cover my bases, the few people that he quote unquote reached out to him is only 2, and he threw those guys by the wayside for side scrollers. So who's to say that either one of those situations happened? On top of that, you got the Mike Klum thing. He backed out of that. My theory is the reason why he backed out is because he found out that Mike Klum and Keemstar are connected. So that's the reason why he freaked out over that shit, which makes sense. And what else? Oh, and then everybody else asked to do an interview with him publicly. And what he didn't want to do it because he didn't want drama or some bullshit. Whatever. Take your pick on that.
And talk to a lot of people about a lot of possibilities for crossovers and/or content together. People have expressed interest in seeing me do interviews or be interviewed and do this kind of content, right? They have. And so I always entertain. I'm always, you know, very nice and what's the word?
Cordial.
I'm always very polite, and I'm not willing I'm always willing to at least have the initial conversation about a possibility of something going on, a collab or something. Okay, it almost never goes anywhere because it usually ends up in one of two situations. Situation number one, oh, actually, there's really nothing there for us to do that would be too interesting for either party. It wouldn't really benefit both of us to do it. Or number two, well, Phil, yeah, actually, this is an awesome, interesting collab. This would work, but sadly, we don't want to get harassed by your detractor.
Even though that was one person. And I think Alt has gone over that because I think he actually is in contact with him. And even then, not to call those people liars, but it sounds like they were just trying to let you down, I guess, because I'm not privy to what the DMs are. But it sounds like they were just trying to let you down in a humane sort of way. Instead of shooting you right in the goddamn face, metaphorically in Minecraft, I mean. But, like, they decided to try to let you down, you know, lightly. Because, to be honest, if someone wanted to find out who those guys are, that's not hard. So, you know what I'm saying? I doubt the farms are the least of their worries, Phil. I'm sure they've dropped their first name at one time or another, their general location, you know what I'm saying, what they did before this or what they're doing. If they've been around long enough, I'm sure they've probably said something. Or they've slipped up somewhere. But see, you're so stupid, though. And you're so desperate to be the victim that you'll let other people... I don't want to call them liars. You'll let other people exaggerate on you a bit just so you can be the victim later. Which is fine if that's what you want to do, but, you know, realistically, Phil. If 50 people... Hold on, man. If 10 people... If 20 people, if 30 people, if 40 people say no to you, why would you keep doing it? Like, somewhere down the line, you didn't think, you know what? I've already had 10 people say, yeah, man, I'm not interested, but I appreciate it. That wasn't enough? 30 people said, no, man, we're not interested. You know, we appreciate you reaching out. That wasn't enough for you? Like, that in itself is extremely autistic. Like, you really think the world, well, of course you do. You think the world is the problem, not you. But how many people need to reject you before you realize maybe there's something wrong with me? Meaning you, by the way. When does that become a thing? To be rejected, let's say it that way, because you take everything personally. For you to be rejected that many times, and you don't want it to, and you didn't think maybe, just maybe, some self-reflection that, hey, maybe I'm the problem? Just keep doing it and just keep humiliating yourself over and over again. You do realize, right, there's a possibility that amongst those 50 people, that some of them might talk, right? Like some of them might actually be friends and shit, right? That they might actually know each other, right? You ever thought about that? Maybe not. All right, well, I thought I'd bring it up.
And we don't want to end up doxxed on Kiwi farms. So because of that, we're going to decline. That's the two outcomes that usually happen whenever I seek or someone seeks to collab with me. It's one or the other side, okay? So
Wait, let's go back to what the first one is. Sorry, I had talked all years off and shit. Let me see what the first one was, though.
one, oh, actually, there's really nothing there for us to do that would be too interesting for either party. It wouldn't really benefit both of us to do it.
So you're not an interesting person. You're not well-versed enough, well-read, or well-traveled enough, or you don't have enough life experience that they feel that talking to you is even worthwhile. That's worse, now that I think about it. I almost let that slide, sorry. I almost let that shit slide. That's worse than the second, Phil. You trying to play the victim that no one wants to get docked on Kiwi's farms? You're mad or you're hyper fixated on that. When in actuality, the first one's worse. Hey Phil, you're not interesting enough. There's not enough there about you outside of your drama and your bullshit. There's not enough about you that anybody finds interesting, so we don't see the point. You don't see that? Jesus Christ. That's really sad, to be honest with you. That's really that hurts worse. The former hurts worse than the latter, to be honest with you. And that's why he leans on the latter so much, because he gets to play victim. But the first one's worse. The first one's way worse. And he's just too stupid to see it, which is kind of unfortunate. It's really not, but you know, it's kind of unfortunate. Holy shit.
And do this kind of content, right? They have. And so I always entertain. I'm always, you know, very nice and
You can't even articulate being a decent person, Phil. You can't even articulate being a decent person. You know how sad that is? See, that's why you gravitate. That's why you gravitate, or certain people gravitate to you. You know what I'm saying? Like people that are controversial, people or other lolcows mainly, other damaged people. That's the reason why you attract who you attract. That's the reason. Decent people don't want to talk to you because there's nothing decent about you. They leave it to other people and then they just laugh at that later on down the line. And you're literally too stupid to see it. Wow, okay.
What's the word? I'm always very polite, and I'm not willing to I'm always willing to at least have the initial conversation about a possibility of something going on, a collab or something. Okay, it almost never goes anywhere because it usually ends up in one of two situations. Situation number one, oh, actually, there's really nothing there for us to do that would be too interesting for either party. It wouldn't really benefit both of us to do it. Or number two, well, Phil, yeah, actually, this is an awesome, interesting collab. This would work, but sadly, we don't want to get harassed by your detractors, and we don't want to end up doxxed on Kiwi farms. So because of that, we're going to decline.
Now let's play the odds here for a minute. We know of at least one situation where that happened, allegedly, right? We got one situation out of 50. So by playing the very odds based on the information that we know, 49 people said, yeah, we don't think you're interesting enough, Phil. We're not going to talk to you. Sorry. That's crazy. That's so fucking crazy. And in some ways and on some level, he realizes that. He needed one person. He's been rejected so many times that he needed just that one person, or that one group of people, if you will, to sit there and say, well, it may be interesting, Phil, but you know, we don't want to get ourselves exposed. We don't want our families exposed, whatever. And that was enough to wipe the slate clean. Okay, hey man, no problem. It is what it is. Run to his own little fucking pompet and then sit there and say, oh, the reason why I can't get collabs, the reason why I can't get interviews, the reason why no one wants to talk to me is because Kiwi Farms. It's Kiwi Farms' fault. If my thread didn't exist, meaning his thread, if his thread didn't exist, there wouldn't be a problem. People would talk to me. I could get the big collabs. But you collabed with Kino Casino for 8 months. You were attempting to have a long-term conversation or collaboration with side scrollers until you lied to them about that bullshit. And look at where they're at. And then, Jesus Christ, look at where they're at. And then look at what happened with Asmongold. You literally had a chance. You didn't have a chance. You did it. You literally were on stream with one of the biggest streamers in the world, and you somehow fumbled that bag. And then what's even crazier is post side scrollers, those guys are over there on MSNBC now, or they're on MCN or MSN. Sorry, they're over there on MSN and shit. So now they're getting into some real money. Fucking Kino Casino's doing better than they've ever been because of the whole situation with Jar or fucking Quarter Pounder and shit. And then, I mean, Asmongold's got himself a girlfriend. That's cool. She's trying to clean him up and, you know, straighten him up and everything like that. Got banned from Twitch recently though, so that sucks to suck. But outside of that, it's only like a week, so he'll be all right. Unless he's got it brought down to even less time. So maybe Asmongold was the only one who kind of suffered from the DSP fucking Gout chain, monkey's paw, monkey hoof curse, if you will. Only Asmongold took the blunt of it. I mean, theoretically, Kino Casino did too, because they lost their Clips channel. But you know, it is what it is. They recovered. They bounced back. But how is it that you were given all these opportunities and you fucked them all up? Crazy, bro. When you break that shit down, absolutely fucking crazy.
That's the two outcomes that usually happen whenever I seek or someone seeks to collab with me. It's
That's
one or the other
really sad.
side. Okay, so it is what it is. It's sad because I really wish that I could do more work with other people. I wish that it could be more beneficial for both sides. There wouldn't be drama. There wouldn't be harassment.
So why won't you sit there and fix yourself? Because remember, he's sitting there, he wants to try to throw all of this onto the whole Kiwi Farm situation. But yet again, he led with, hey, yeah, we don't have a lot in common, man, and we don't really see any value in dealing with you, so we're not going to. So you never thought about fixing something about yourself? You never thought about trying to improve yourself? No, you didn't. Because you're not the problem. They're just assholes and they're weak. And that's why they can't sit there and deal with the bullshit. And then the other group, that one person that we know of who says we don't want to get doxxed on farms, apparently they're weak too. Because they don't want to deal with you and they don't want to put themselves in jeopardy for someone who's really not worth it. He shouldn't have said any of this. That's all bad. That is all bad. He should have not admitted to any of that. That's a big yikes there.
But sadly, that's just not the reality. You know,
Wow,
for me,
that's crazy
sadly, a lot of the
work,
things
boy.
that every other creator gets to do, I don't get to do. And I'm still...
And then we got a grown-ass man crying about how he's being excluded from some shit. You're a grown-ass man. I can't do what everybody else gets to do. I'm not allowed to. You're a grown-ass man. 40-plus-year-old man talking like this.
doing well, so I guess it's not a big deal, right? I guess it's just not that big of a deal because I am very successful with the stuff that I'm doing. So Jen...
Yeah, but is that success going to lead into next year? 2 years from now? 5 years from now? See, we don't measure... Well, he doesn't. He doesn't measure success over the span of... or over the period of time. He just what's immediately in front of him. What he can put his hooves on and what's directly in front of his snout, and that's it. And he wonders why he keeps failing the way he does. Just because he has some peaks and valleys and shit, there are some times where he can literally fuck up and whatnot, and he gets lucky is one thing. But the lows are way more numerous than the highs.
Cook, thank you for 500 kids.
That's crazy.
For the record, I think that's ridiculous what you said. He said, why would you waste time doing content with people beneath you or no shared interest? Beneath you is a messed up way to say that.
Really? Aren't you the same people? Aren't you the same person, sorry, who says that people are like worthless wastes of life, and if they got Thanos snapped, or if they fell off a bridge or off a cliff, they wouldn't be missed and no one would care? You know what I'm saying? And they're just wastes of oxygen and all that bullshit. That's literally you, right? Like, you're the one who said all these different things, right? You were the one that were telling people to fucking get a spoon and eat that shit out your ass and all this silly shit, right? That was you, right? But because, quote unquote, there are other content creators, somehow they have more value than regular people. But you shit on other content creators, though, and other streamers who've done nothing to you outside of succeeding. And that was okay. Those were valid excuses and reasons, right? Huh. Okay. I'm asking for a friend.
That is. Like, you have to understand that I don't feel like anyone on planet Earth is any more or less important than anyone else.
Really? Well, let's play that back. I misheard that. Let's hear that again. I may have misheard that.
I think that's ridiculous what you said. He said, why would you waste time doing content with people beneath you or no shared interest? Beneath you is a messed up way to say that. That is. Like, you have to understand that I don't feel like anyone on planet Earth is any more or less important than anyone else. It's just sadly people act that way. But
didn't we equate? Oh, it's sad that they act that way. So Tevin was acting like a drug dealer, and Tevin was acting like a criminal when you accused him of all those things. Is that how Tevin was presenting himself? Like a criminal, like a drug dealer? I'm just going off what he said.
I don't feel like anyone on planet Earth is any more or less.
The fact that he's looking off already shows that he's lying, but whatever. It's funny. It's little quirks like that he can't hide because he does it subconsciously. Like most liars.
Or more or less important than anyone else. It's just sadly people act that way. But just because someone's a bigger creator or a smaller creator or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. A collab is a collab, and if it...
That's a lie, because you literally said that you didn't want to do interviews with people if they didn't have clout or if they didn't have reach. Matter of fact, that was one of the reasons why you said you snaked Kino Casino, because they became worthless to you because they couldn't set up the collaborations and whatnot that you wanted, that you needed, and that's why you discarded them. I did a video on that. All right then, fair enough.
Could be mutually beneficial. It doesn't matter if you're huge, you're small, you're in between. Who cares, right? I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people's content would never work if they didn't have other people on it. There's a lot of these, like...
Well, wait. Theoretically, that applies to you. Because if you didn't have John and Howard and all those guys early on, who's to say where you would have been? And the proof of that, in particular with John, is how hard you tried to get him harassed to have him come back and do content with you again. Semantics.
Joe Rogan podcast. It's humongous.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, you literally don't know what the... All right, let me stop. And I don't even fuck with Joe Rogan, but let me stop. I'm going to defend Joe no matter what, because what he's saying is blatantly wrong. But let him play his cards out and shit and whatnot, because he don't know what a dead man's hand is anyway, so this is light work. This is easy work for me.
In between, who cares, right? I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people's content would never work if they didn't have other people on it. There's a lot of these, like the Joe Rogan podcast. It's humongous. But if he didn't have all these other people on the show, it never would have been successful. So in a lot of ways, even though Joe Rogan is a great interviewer and entertainer, he owes his success to the fact that everyone else was generous to show up on his show.
You don't have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You legitimately have no fucking clue what you're talking about. First things first. The reason why the Joe Rogan podcast was successful is the fact that, one, a lot of the people that Joe had on the show asked him to come on. They asked him to come onto his podcast and shit. You know what I'm saying? Joe could do exactly what Asmongold did, where you're just going through like Twitter, going through different feeds and shit at other places, reacting to videos and just giving his opinion on it. Having someone else there is just another warm body. Let's get on top of that. Has he had a lot of interesting guests? He's had, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's had presidents. He's had different like guys in politics and all that. Yet again, there was a benefit for them going up there. It wasn't like Joe begged them to show up and they were like, oh, well, yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and give something to the peasants. No, that's not how that works. And whatnot. He did them solids and whatnot for a lot of them. And a lot of them admitted it. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit further. Most of those guys who were in let's not even say the LA scene or even what's going on in Texas, or even the comedy scene in Boston. Let's just talk about comedy as a whole. A lot of those guys, if not almost all of them, asked to come onto his show. And that's what blew them up. And they've almost all admitted it. You know what I'm saying? They weren't just, it wasn't a matter of being generous with their time. He had a huge ass platform. And it was a great launching pad for them. On top of that, what about some of these guys who talk about quirky, like conspiracy shit? Joe loves those people. And most of those guys are niche. Most people don't even know who some of those guys were. So bringing them on was a favor to them. And Joe just made the best of what the situation was. Or whoever his program director thought would be interesting. Because Joe, well, at least early on, he was super open-minded about shit. But those people, he's gotten a lot of great episodes with a lot of great people. But please believe, between Joe's time as a comedian, Fear Factor, and then fucking the UFC and whatever, the dude's got a wealth of knowledge and shit. He's seen and done a lot of shit. He had a lot to talk about long before anybody needed to come onto that show. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You're literally trying to diminish what Joe, and like I said, I don't even fuck with Joe Rogan like that, but you're trying to diminish everything Joe has and say he would have only had all that, or he only has everything he has because of other people. He built that off other people's backs, and that's not true. And it's not even fair, to be honest. And I'm actually kind of mad at myself that I was kind of forced to defend Joe on that, but that's literally not true. At all. Like, most of those guests were absolute fucking bottom feeders and shit. They were fortunate. A lot of those guys got up on there because Joe did owed a favor, or someone or one of their friends asked Joe for a favor, and that's why they got on. You literally don't know jack shit of what you're talking about at all. I wouldn't even apply your fucking frame of mind to like Howard Stern or even Obie and Anthony. I wouldn't even completely do that to them. Like, what's that guy's name? Like Brian Schaub, like, or Brandon Schaub, maybe him. Like the fucking, maybe that. Like, that was definitely a major charity case, to be honest with you. That show, The Fighter and the Kid, some of the other stuff that he's done, those podcasts, most of those were charity cases. That might apply to him. But no. You're out your motherfucking mind, bro. That's fucking crazy word. That's crazy word.
Right? So I don't know why you would act like people, oh, you're below this person. That's kind of messed up to say that.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy word. Holy fuck, that's crazy word. Oh, I'm leaving this. I left this part in here. Don't worry, we're not going to go through all of it. It's like another 2 minutes. Probably won't even bother with that. But DSP somehow caught his ass a nosebleed, which, I mean, the fuck? Like, what the fuck were you doing that caused a nosebleed, dude? Anyway, I'll let him talk about it briefly, and then we'll finish up.
I got a nosebleed. It's very annoying.
Jesus Christ.
Where I've been. I had a quick snack. I grabbed my coffee. I used the restroom, and I'm like, okay, before I come to stream, let me clean out my nose so I don't have to sneeze or anything. And I blow my nose, and I get a nosebleed. How annoying. Ah!
So you were mining for gold, and you sat there giving yourself a fucking nosebleed. And I'm surprised that he's not more prone to sinus infections and whatnot, given all the snorting that he does. And it's funny how he can't blow his nose on stream to save his life. He'll choose to snort and then do that. But then off stream, you're blowing your nose and giving yourself nosebleeds? And you don't see a problem or a correlation with that? All right.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So I'm waiting for it to...
Maybe he's right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's right. Maybe he is a fucking alien. He's on Earth, but he's not like the rest of us. Holy shit.
Stop, because it's pretty gross nosebleed.
That's sad, bro. That's a sad way of living. Look at that shit. I guess it's all content, right, Phil? Jesus Christ. All right, we'll end it at that. We'll end it at that, because I'm pretty sure there's nothing else. Like, I think when he pulled that shit out, that was bloody as hell. I'll spare you guys that. That's just not even worthwhile. Holy fuck, that is not even worth that. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the DSP Grace Thorp situation. At least as we know it, I should say. If there's a follow up, you know I'm on top of that. But yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. That's fucking wild. Okay, so in closing, I'm gonna let you guys go. I don't know. there was a lot of lying there that didn't make a whole lot of sense. To be honest, him poaching another broken woman on the internet seems convenient, but I don't actually think that's what it is. I think he's just trying to get back at Review Tech USA, and he needs, because he's already, you know, he's already launched himself off of RTU's carcass once. Why not try to do it again, but this time use it with a woman, where DSP may feel like he has a sense of control, or maybe she'll be able to round out his edges, even though theoretically his wife should have been doing that. But semantics. I think that's what it was, because it was no different with the Becky situation. You know what I'm saying? He was going to use Becky and her drama with Rich to benefit himself. I think Grace is no different. So I don't really see anything else coming out of that. I do think it was interesting, though, in the initial video I showed you, where Grace and some of her compatriots are sitting there talking about, oh, wow, he's way bigger than I thought he was. Oh, yeah, he made $2,000 on stream. You see that shit? Man, that's crazy. I don't know, DSP. Maybe you need to stop talking to that chick. Because it's not just her, but it's the people around her. If they start looking at you like you something to eat, then that might be a problem for you. So maybe, just maybe, you need to back the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you thought was going to come out of that, but maybe you need to ease the fuck back. You know what I'm saying? I get it, DSP. Here, I'll bring her back up there for you, DSP. Because you know what I'm saying? I get it. You know what I'm saying? You think she's easy on the eyes and all that bullshit, right? And we all know you like them young and this, that, and the third, but she ain't nothing to play with. She ain't no joke. She ain't sat there and brought Rich to his motherfucking knees to the point where that dude need to run out and get a gun that he can't even handle. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if you're really ready for that. I don't even know if you're really ready for what that entails. So maybe, just maybe, it might do you some favors to just leave that shit alone. You ain't built for that. You're not. You know what I'm saying? She's only, the degrees of separation between her and Jenna are really, really small. It's really, really small. You don't want to be playing with that, Phil. So leave that alone. That's just my advice to you. But do what you will. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. Okay. Get the fuck out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. This has been, I'll name the segment later. GTG, spits that grease, so on and so forth. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves. Oh, Phil. You silly, silly monkey. Later, people. Later, people.